Yeah, it should be good.
All right, we're live. We're back. Once again, my name is Sunny Ray. I'm the host of the Sunny Ray Show. Thanks to our sponsors, Raz Rocket. Today, I am joined by Ash. Ash is the founder of Axel. Am I saying it right? Axel?
Yeah, just
Axel.
absolutely.
Okay, cool. So welcome. How are you doing today?
Doing really good. I mean, it's been a fun day, like a little bit of writing code. We just did a fucking snowball fight for the content because it's a consumer app out here in New York. Like it's been a fun day.
Cool. Why don't you kick us off if you don't mind? Just share a couple sentences or a paragraph or whatever you want on Axel, and then, like I said, we'll come back to it in a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you're sharing screen right there. That's the whole idea. Like earn more. Best place to park the dollar. Banks take your money when you deposit, whether in the US or abroad. They lend it out. They pocket the interest. All that we do is leverage blockchains and decentralized lending markets to help you lend directly and own that sort of wealth that you can generate. Today, it's stablecoins and lending markets related to those. We want to expand to everything: gold, Bitcoin, land, small business loans, anything that's like a previously gate-kept asset class. We have an intuitive mobile app that makes it easy to go and earn. TLDR, earn more on your dollar.
Very cool. So, Ash, I was reading about your background. It's quite impressive. You're a 2024 Harvard graduate, computer science and economics. You founded this company, and it's got a bit of a history to it as well. So, I'm curious to just dive in. But before we do, just maybe kick us off. Tell us a little bit about you growing up in Lexington. I hear that you have a twin brother who's also a startup founder. What was the Ahmed household like growing up?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool that you, I guess, found that somewhere on the the internet. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, twin brother. I'm a minute older. Ever since we were kids, there was always this like fun kind of competitive dynamic. We did a lot of stuff together. Big policy debaters. That was my origin story, or I guess like ever since I gained consciousness in kind of like middle school and high school, like that was the one thing I liked doing. Never wrote code. Was never that good at math or science. Like the fun thing for me was go and just compete and fucking win at the things that you do. And it was fun. I would compete against my brother. Senior year, we partnered up and we debated together. Every year, you're just researching a different topic. Fast forward to college, I thought I'd just do econ or something. Like, it seems like a fun path. Quickly get jaded. I took an econ class freshman fall. It was also COVID 2020. Divorce from reality, all these formulas, these folks that just stay in academia forever. I took Harvard's Intro CS class at the exact same time, and I built like a sneaker bot, like a StockX sniping bot. And I just fell in love with coding. And coincidentally, and this is the part where it's really luck, crypto was starting to become big. If you guys remember DeFi summer in 2020, like a lot of these altcoins were on the rise. I had never heard anything about the industry, but I got into a club on campus where you just kind of do unpaid research for VCs and folks that want students to just help them out with their analysis. I got matched with a guy who made a ton of money that summer. He had no idea what was going on. Every week I made slideshows for him, like central bank digital currencies versus Bitcoin, or like how does Bitcoin work? How does blockchain work? Uniswap versus SushiSwap, like all that. So that freshman fall was like a lot of me going from like not knowing what I was going to do to like, I want to write code and build stuff, and crypto's a cool industry. Did a ton of hackathons over the years, worked at AWS and some other traditional jobs over summers. But my junior year, we got the opportunity we hit it big with one hackathon, and we got the opportunity to do A16Z's Crypto Startup School Accelerator. So that's like a crash course through the journey. I was just a kid. I love debating. Then I loved like building. And I think both of those skill sets lend themselves well towards the life of a founder in startups.
Fascinating. So you went to Harvard and you studied both computer science and economics. I find that really interesting. That's also a really intense double load. What drew you to that specific combination?
No, I mean, I'll preface it by saying like I barely did any school junior year and senior year. Like we just flew out to LA and worked on this company. And senior year, I stayed in it to get to the degree. Like it was an hour of work a week. It was easy. I didn't have to move to a new city. It was just me, and we were pivoting at a ton. So it sounds hard. Like I very much made a trade-off to focus on the company over school, but the decision was easy. It was like economics is fascinating. Like it's cool to think about systems and how people are incentivized to do different things. The challenge with just doing econ, especially at a place like Harvard, it's so theoretical, and like you're not really like excited by what you're building. Building is of course fun, but it's oftentimes just like B2B SaaS, some generic thing, work at a big tech company. And I found in this blend, especially with crypto as well through crypto hackathons, that you can really apply every aspect of your thinking. Like think about how money is incentivized to move to certain places, especially with where we're at today. I never could have predicted that crossover is so cool. Like even our rebalancer on Axel, and I'm sure we'll get into it, we're looking at greedy algorithms, which are core to computer science, combined with like different yield strategies, rebalancing across different TVL levels, risk factors. Like it's such a cool combo, and I think more people should do it.
So again, I was reading about the history, right? And it sounds like it was born at a polka dot hackathon on Harvard's campus. Is that correct?
I don't remember who the sponsor was. There's a great group of guys called Easy A. John.
Easy A, right. Yeah. Is Easy A? I thought it was also with polka dot. But anyways, what I guess what my question was, what were you trying to build that day? What did it feel like? Take us back to that moment.
Yeah, it was funny. I mean, it was like some winter day, junior year. I think it was October, like October junior year, Saturday morning, mad early. I didn't even want to go, but my friends convinced me to go to this hackathon that morning. Show up a little late. I was just so tired. I was out super late the Friday night before. I didn't really want to go and do anything. But we go and we have this idea of like we have all these winnings from hackathons that we've done in the past, like just stable coins or other assets. And it was a pain to manage. Like every time we wanted to move them around or Jeremy has to pay for a flight, Ash wants to go and like buy pizza, for example. We used a Gnosis safe for moving that money around, and it was a nightmare. You have to wait for transactions to be signed by everybody. So for that hackathon project, we called the company Lockbox, and that's actually our legal name still. It's like Lockbox Technologies Inc. The idea was like a lockbox, you can secure your funds, but it's a super easy permission layer on top where like I could delegate that like Sunny's allowed to spend this much money on this thing without requiring everybody to sign. Like better treasury management for on-chain businesses was the idea. We pivoted a ton, and like a lot of our experience during the A16Z accelerator was realizing that people don't really care about it. A lot of the treasury managers just do this themselves. There's some info that's out there, but that was the original idea, and we got lucky enough to get into that accelerator by pitching that idea. Although they're very much betting on us.
Hey Ash, I've got a co-host that sometimes makes guest appearances, so hope you don't mind. Yeah, this is Daniel. He's also got his laptop out, his cell phone. Yeah, he just got to zero inbox before I did. Just give me 1 second, yeah?
No problem.
There we go. We called Mama Bear. She should be here for backup soon. Cool. So actually, I was going to ask you about that, the A16Z experience. I was reading about that as well. That is fascinating. Can you talk a little bit about that and how did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of luck. Like one of my friends was in touch with some folks from their team just because they were doing campus visits. Like they hang out around the Boston area a lot. He just got a coffee chat with them. Briefly talked about some of the hackathon things that we were doing, and they were like, you know, you're obviously way too early for like a proper investment, but we are starting up this accelerator program called Crypto Startup School. And we just threw our hat in the ring, and it was a pretty seamless process. It was like 1 or 2 calls. We didn't even have a deck. Of course, all we had was what we had built from that hackathon. But again, I think they were betting on us. And then January of 2024, we just got a call one day and they were like, yeah, we'd love to have you guys for the first batch of this, just like Y Combinator, but for crypto companies. We were the youngest by far. It was a huge like jolt. To me, it was like, this is all I want to do. Like I'd spent the last 3 years learning about this industry. A16Z is a great firm. So to get conviction from somebody like that, especially at that age when I'm just like a kid in college learning about this stuff, it was just such a clear sign that this is my life now. But yeah, it was a brutal accelerator. Like you're in the idea maze, you're talking to everybody. It's very intense. You got to make sure that you're shipping and like learning, and startups are brand new to all of us. So it was, it was a long process.
Okay, so for listeners who are new to Axel, right, break it down simply. I don't know, like I'm talking to my 11-year-old or my mom or someone. Like, how do I explain to them what you guys do and that you're not, I don't know, going to run away with all my money?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things to get out of the way. Like I always open with the, like, what do you think happens when you put your money in a bank account? It's a black box. Like most people don't fully understand it. And when you Google it or you look into it, they're under collateralized loans. Like that just means like some guy puts up like a little bit of money or some like house maybe, and they're going and lending it out to different folks. They're pricing in some default rate and they're pocketing the interest that is paid on those loans. That's like literally what's happening. Maybe it's T-bills, maybe it's proper lending. And then you look at like private wealth or how like rich people around the world manage their money. There's a lot of these gate kept asset classes. Go back thousands of years, the only people that can buy gold or buy land are like kings and queens kind of thing. Even today, like who can invest in venture? Who can invest in private credit? What blockchains are able to do is democratize access to these technologies. And like the way that it happens is like blockchains are pretty cool. Like many different people are coming to consensus on information. All that Axel does is leverage these blockchains to give you credible guarantees on loans that you could do directly. So instead of parking your money in a bank and having them lend out on your behalf and pocket that interest, what if you were able to directly lend out to folks that wanted to borrow? And these aren't under collateralized. They're over collateralized loans. That means like if some guy wants to borrow $100, they got to put up $120 worth of Bitcoin or Ethereum or maybe tokenized S&P, NVIDIA, whatever that asset might be. Your principal is protected. There's code that's tracking the price of that collateral. If suddenly it's worth less than the amount that they borrowed, they're auto-liquidated. So that's a lot about what we do. That's kind of a high-level crash course of it. we want to do other asset classes as well, like I alluded to, and we're building towards that. Invest in gold, like actual spot exposure to gold, which you don't even get through ETFs. It's a lot of like future contracts under the hood. Invest in land, invest in small businesses. Like blockchains just level the playing field for you to access these opportunities.
Very cool. And so you raised, was it like $2.5 million in a pre-seed recently? What was the A16 a part of that? I think it was CMT, right, that led it?
Yep, CMT Digital led.
Interesting. And then I also love the fact that your team is quite diverse, I guess, to say the least. You guys have someone from the US military, Harvard Business School, yourself, right? Quant funds. You guys have, I think, a whole bunch. So how did you recruit that kind of team? And yeah, maybe share a little bit about that.
Yeah, hiring's like been fun. Like I think we've gotten weirdly, maybe we just have like a knack for it, which is surprising because I've obviously never hired for anything in my life before this. But when I first raised the money, it was just me. I knew Ari, who's the U.S. Army captain, because he was the president of the Harvard Business School Blockchain Club when I was an undergrad. So I'd known him for a while, and we'd done different events. I'd pulled up to some things that he's done. And when I raised that money and I talked to him about the idea, he was immediately like, "I'm so excited. I'd love to work on this." And then we partnered up. So he was the first one. That was the most natural. Another guy, I did a cold LinkedIn job post. It was terrible. There was a lot of inbound that was just like spam or folks that weren't excited. But I got one guy who had done John McAfee's final interview, and he was at SIG doing like non-technical work, like content, and I had 1 million views on YouTube. So this guy didn't know much about crypto. He was not technical, but I saw that and I was like, this guy can hustle. And he's been incredible for us. And then another guy just worked out of a co-working space in New York when I moved to the city after graduation for a month. And a friend of a friend who I'd met over there was like, I got a buddy who did ML at NYU. So that core group before lasted a while. And then now it's exploded. Like have a bunch of Singaporeans that moved over who used to be at OKX or other centralized exchanges. A guy who was at TikTok in Singapore. They just saw us from Twitter, which has been cool. Like saw one of our tweets, got excited, reached out, and they're leading a lot of our cryptography efforts right now. So it is a very hodgepodge, like all over the place kind of group. Almost everybody's here in New York, which is a fun dynamic. And we have an army of interns as well that's doing like UGC content for us, filming shit. Got a lot of college students, that kind of thing.
So you guys launched Gecko AI through virtual protocols. So that sounded really interesting. Is it modeled after the 1980s kind of the Wall Street thing?
Yeah, it was.
And, yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
We pivoted a ton since then. I mean, when we were, sorry, 1 second, I'm getting a call from my brother right here. Yep. Yeah, we pivoted a lot since then. But the idea at the time, this is about 1.5 years ago, was what if we could leverage a lot of these like LLM innovations and what people were starting to see on Twitter. Now we have Grok, where people are like tagging Grok just to go and do things. What if we could do that for like trading or like crypto related on-chain tasks? And we realized very quickly after launching that people don't care about half of the things except for yield. Like it's a very commoditized market. There's a bunch of ways to do it. Who knows? Time might tell that stuff changes, but that was the origin story for Gecko. Like let's create like a kind of wealth assistant that you can chat to in the same interface where you're learning information and gathering information to just go and execute actions on your behalf. But yeah, we've since transitioned that off to a different team, laser focused on yield. But yeah, that was like any startup, you're exploring these different ideas, you're seeing what works and seeing what doesn't. And I'm proud of like the speed at which we've been able to iterate.
Awesome. So you built this company from a hackathon prototype to a funded startup with now over 10,000 community members. So take us out 5 years from now. What does what do things look like? I know you're not even 25 yet, but that's amazing that you've done so much in so little time.
Yeah, 5 years is long. I'll start with 1 and then I can try to do 5.
Yeah.
1 year from now is like I want to build a lot of this vision. Like right now what we have is just stablecoin yield. That's the 0 to 1. That's like the edge. There's nowhere else on earth where you can go on your phone, have a fintech like experience to go and access these yields that exist in DeFi. But I want to add on other asset classes. Like a line that I've been saying a lot to just friends and family. If you go back thousands of years, like what asset classes does any human on the planet view as like a long-term investment today or even 1,000 years ago? You have like gold and rare metals. You have investing in land and physical property. You have like business loans or lending in some capacity. You have sovereign bonds, whether that's US T-bills, Indian bonds, Brazilian bonds, like that type of thing, like for the country that you're in. And there's a couple others, like venture is newer, private credit is newer, but like you generally get this list of like 5 to 10 asset classes. I want Axel to have all of that. Like what tokenization has done is brought all of these on chain, from the most like elite, like Apollo private credit, go and invest in that, to like just go and invest in gold or go and invest in this like new mine that opened up somewhere across the world. Like people should be able to access wealth in a single click on a single app. We're heading towards a world where things are pretty barbell. Like me and my friends have our Polymarket, our Kalshi, our DraftKings, our FanDuel, like much more speculative spot trading related apps. There's no good modern wealth app. Like bank accounts do a single thing. through the opaque system that we've just described. You can't easily invest in a lot of these things. I want Axel to be like a wealth hub. So that's a year from now. 5 years from now, there's like a lot that could happen. I want this app to just win the same way that I use Chase today and it runs my financial life. I want Axel's app to run my wealth life. There could be integrations. We've spoken to a ton of institutions and other partners that want to leverage our rebalancer under the hood in a lot of our yield automations. But right now we're laser focused on consumers. So we'll see how that thing evolves.
Cool. Well, let's help me maybe land the plane and tell people where they can learn more about yourself and then also Axel.
Yeah, I mean, for Axel, it's super simple. The first thing that we bought was ax.al, like that domain name. Albania has the tld.al, which was super cool. And then axel.com as well. We bought it a little bit later. Get Axel on all socials. Like I was alluding to, we're doing a ton of fun content. We're doing like little skits, office style memes. Like we're doing a lot of like user interviews and street interviews. Like it's a consumer fintech app. And in this day and age, you got to be engaging and fun and just being honest about the mission. So we've been trying to do a lot of video content. So people should check that out. For myself, it's just Ashlin Ahmed, Ashlin_Ahmed on Twitter. But yeah.
And normally I ask people like 5 years ago, but like I feel that would be almost maybe too long. But like, let's say you were talking to yourself from like first year, and maybe someone's listening to this, right? And they're like, "Yo, I'd like to end up in a position like that." What would you? I don't know. What kind of advice would you give yourself?
The only advice that I think like really holds the test of time, and like I'm constantly telling myself this or like kicking myself this about this is like you just got to act. Like too often, even right now, there's like a lot of like decision paralysis. It's like should I not do this? Like what if I'm judged? What if I'm not judged? Like the reality of life is that nobody ever knows, and I think especially in this line of work, the people who succeed are not the ones who get things correct. They're the ones who like iterate really fucking fast. So like we've done a ton of bets that had proven to be wrong, like autopilot and a lot of the gecko stuff where like it's too early or we didn't execute right or people don't care about a lot of these features. But by moving quickly, you land on something that excites you, something that people care about. And even now, when I think about all the features, there's a million things I want to build. You got to move quick and don't let perfection be the enemy of like starting and getting user feedback. Like that's to really crystallize it. Like the thing I would tell anybody is just go and do the thing, especially in this day and age. It's so easy to code. It's really easy to just get feedback from friends and family, spit stuff out on the internet. Like I grew up super shy and then I started to get out of my shell. And then even now there's a level of like, oh, what if I get judged? And I think a lot of that is like innately human. Like we're scared of judgment by other people, but you just got to give it a go. Nobody gives a shit and they give a shit if you do well. So go and just create something, figure out what they want and just start building.
One of my favorite quotes is success matters, failure is inconsequential. Anyways, dude, you seem like you're on some sort of real path here, and congratulations to all your success. And I know this isn't obviously the end. This is just like the beginning of a long journey. And yeah, man, keep crushing it. And with that, I guess let's bring this one to an end. Hang out just for a minute, Ash. Wow, 47 people. That's a lot. Thank you all for tuning in.